Hi again, my name is Peter Willington and I'm a Commonwealth-Registered marriage celebrant. I'm coming to you today from the YouTubes from my courtyard in Nunda. This is really frequently asked or easy to answer questions, volume 1.2. And now I did a bit of preamble in the volume 1.1 video that does still apply to this. If you haven't yet watched that video, I'd encourage you to do so, but it's not necessary for this video to make sense or anything. There's just a couple of points that I made that, these are questions that have been submitted by my clients and, my social media network. I haven't seen them yet, so please excuse me if I stumble through them. I also want to point out that, some of these answers only apply to me and my clients. If we're not working together, just use your discretion. If you think it's something that, I might check with my celebrant about that, but, I certainly don't purport to speak for all celebrants. And I also want to point out this is volume 1, so if you'd like to submit a question for volume 2, get in touch. I'm aiming to do another video in a month or two, so your feedback is really appreciated, and so is your input. And with that, just jump straight into the questions. What is your standard ceremony? Look, I don't have a standard ceremony. This is because the centerpiece of my ceremonies is your story, from how you first met through to while we're standing at the arbor today, and also your hopes and ambitions for the future, and I build out from there. Look, I do have an outline that usually follows, and with the various elements of the ceremony, but however, one of the first meetings we'll have when we're planning the weddings, we'll sit down and we'll go through this sort of outline with a red pen and move things around, and it's really important to me that I make sure that you have the ceremony that you actually want to have. Just on that, I'd encourage you to look at, there's a page on my website, and I'll do a video about this in the future, where I sort of talk about the process of how I tailor a script for each couple. It's kind of hidden away. There's a link in text in the section about my services, and I'll put a description, a link to that page in the description below. Can we have a rehearsal? Yeah, absolutely. For the record, under the Code of Practice, celebrants are obligated to provide a rehearsal if you want it. However, not all rehearsals are on the day before the wedding at the same time. It depends on timing and schedules. Not just for me, could be you and your work commitments. It could also be the venue. Look, you just may need to be flexible about it. In fact, this Saturday I'm marrying a couple at Ceremony, and today is the 22nd of January. So when we would normally do a rehearsal at 3 PM on a Friday, there's going to be weddings taking place because it's Australia Day. So in that case, we can't do a wedding rehearsal the day before the wedding. I'm going to do a video about rehearsals, sort of what to expect and why I love them. But, what you probably need to know for now is that it's probably one of my favourite moments of the wedding process. It's when I generally, if they can all make it, it's the first time I get to meet your most influential people, being most likely your parents and your bridal party. It's just a really fun experience. I spend about 10-15 minutes rehearsing the ceremony and about 45 minutes to an hour sitting down, just chatting and getting to know each other. When will I arrive at the venue? Look, I always aim to be at the ceremony, an hour before the ceremony start time. That way, I've got plenty of time to get all my equipment set up and ready to go for when your guests arrive. It's also, that's after contingency as well. So that's allowing, another 10 minutes for me to be late getting out the door, another 10 minutes for traffic, and, all those sorts of things. So usually they're well and truly before an hour before the ceremony. Yeah. Is there anything you need us to provide for the ceremony? Look, not really. I even have the pen to sign the certificate. That's one of a couple of pens. But just on that, is this covered on my website? If we're going to consume or you want to keep anything, I do ask that you do pay for it. And it also goes without saying, anything that we need a third party to provide, like doves, for example, that's I ask you to organise that as well. But other than that, pretty much everything we need. The only thing that's a little bit unusual is I don't, as standard, get out a table for the signing of the paperwork. I did, for the first 6 months of being a celebrant, carry a table in my car. I just never pulled it out, so I got tired of putting it in. So I'll touch base with the planner at your venue and on the day coordinator just to make sure that that's okay. But yeah, if you want sort of anything special, look, let's have a chat about it. It may be, a good example is a couple that I met with last week. We had a fair few, many beers actually, but we had great fun talking all things wedding. And they're massive Doctor Who fans. So hi guys, you know who you are. We were talking about this YouTube channel, so I know you're watching. they wanted to include, some references and some, just some quotes from the show during the ceremony. And one of the things we came up with was to use a sonic screwdriver. I think that's what it's called. Doctor Who fans everywhere just collectively, started writing angry emails to me. But we're going to use the sonic screwdriver to do the ring exchange. Just sort of that's how I'll hand them the ring on the end of the sonic screwdriver. We'll see if it works at rehearsal. But they have the sonic screwdriver, so they're just going to bring that for me. I have another client that has a pen that holds great sentimental value to them. So that's fine. They can use the pen. All I ask is let's have a chat about it and see what we can make work. Can we tell you what to wear? Absolutely. I always ask what colour the bridal party is going to be dressed in, and it's just to make sure I don't conflict. And further than that, it's your wedding. So if you want me to wear shorts and thongs because it's a beach wedding or whatever, that's cool. If you want me to get dressed up in cosplay, yeah, that's cool too. Just again have a chat to me, get in touch, and we'll go from there. How many meetings will we have? Look, it's different for every client. But the moral of the story is. To do what I do, I've got to get to know you pretty well, and it's because I've effectively got to get up in front of your best friends and family, the people that know you most intimately, and tell them about you. And I always aim to tell something that. Tell every one of your guests something that they didn't know about you. Not anything embarrassing or anything like that, but weddings, is one of the few times in life when you combine all of your circle of friends and families that don't normally meet. And this group of friends may know this, that this group of friends don't know. And my goal was always to try and nut out those bits of the story and share them across people. But to be able to achieve this and to give your story justice, it's a really high bar, and it's a challenge, and it's one of the reasons I love this job. Can we involve friends and family in the ceremony? Yeah, look, absolutely. I'll find a way with you. We'll work together to make sure that making a meaningful contribution to the ceremony. Look, I never advocate for involving people in the ceremony just for the sake of involving them. Particularly for pointless readings. In fact, in general, I don't advocate for readings unless it's something that's really particularly sentimental to you. For example, we've got some clients getting married later in the year, but both of their parents read them the same Dr. Seuss book. I think it's Dr. Seuss book when they were children, and so the mothers are going to read from that Dr. Seuss book during the wedding, which is a really, really cool way to do a reading. And just for the record, if you want to have Corinthians, go and find another Celebrant. I'm not reading that. But this is because one of the things I pride myself on is finding unusual, and by unusual I mean just not seen at every wedding, unusual ways to involve your friends and family, just rather than the reading. Can a friend do most of the ceremony and you do the legal bit? Look, yeah, legally. I'm not going to tell you not to do this, but going back to that question I asked myself before, can I be the best celebrant for you? In this case, no, because I just don't personally want to participate in these ceremonies. There's a range of reasons, and don't take this the wrong way, but if I'm helping or collaborating with your friend on the script, it's the same amount of work as my signature ceremony, so I'm going to charge you the price for my signature ceremony. And if you just sort of went, what? 95% of my job is done behind the scenes, preparing the ceremony and doing the paperwork and those sorts of things. The 30 minutes when I'm standing up talking in front of your friends and family is, that's a very small part of the entire engagement. So, to be blunt, you can find much cheaper celebrants that are willing to do this if this is something you want to do. Do you only do big white weddings? Look, no, I do all sorts of things. I do elopements around Australia. I've got a bit of a collective that I work with. That's probably a copyrighted term. Sorry to that group. I've got a bit of a group, up on the Sunshine Coast and around Brisbane that we sort of put together packages. I do, family barbecues and those sorts of things that turn into weddings. I also do tabletop weddings, where we, a couple of $100, we'll do the legal minimum wording over a coffee. And a good example of that is I'm currently talking to a couple who they're going to have a sort of extended family and friends dinner with maybe 30 odd people, and between the mains and dessert, we're just going to publicly do the legal only ceremony. It's just sort of, they had to think about what was important to them about their wedding day, and the ceremony wasn't part of of it, and so that's what they elected to do. You know, more than happy to work for that. And you know, if you're thinking of doing anything other than a full-blown wedding ceremony, like, absolutely get in touch. You know, I'll find you a cool and unique way to celebrate your marriage. And you know, it's also a great way, you know, to reduce price as well, because, you know, ceremonies can be expensive. Yeah, so look, with that, I'll call the end of volume 1.2 of Really Frequently Asked or Easy to Answer Questions. And as always, if you haven't yet decided on a celebrant, I'd love to be considered. And if you have any topics or questions you'd like to see me cover in a future video, or even something in this video that you'd like me to cover in more detail, just let me know through the comment section below, or get in touch through any of my social media platforms, or make an inquiry on my website. Also, as I said at the end of video 1, if you like this video, go and check out the rest of the videos in this series, and, you know, also on the Peter Willington Weddings Talks videos. You know, I'd really love it if you could show me some love and subscribe to the channel. So without further ado, have a great day, and I'm looking forward to chatting all things weddings with you again soon.